All right, so my hair falls down right there. I'm live on YouTube, and I just got done at the greater Nashville area. That's Davidson County and all the surrounding counties, basically running right up into the border of Kentucky, all the way down to Bedford County and Shelbyville in that area, and then going as far east as Wilson County and as far west as I believe Marshall and Maury and some of those counties over there. I don't get over on that side of the state very often. Dixon, I believe, is over that direction. Anyway, Edsel Charles spoke, and or Charles Edsel, not sure which direction that is. I'll have to look it up. And then there was also Lawrence Yoon, an economist, that spoke as well. I thought it was well worth the time that I spent sitting in on it. Nothing really new. I think everyone out there is worried, and I'm driving home right now and rode by myself, so I'm talking to you, even though there's no one really live right now, but I'm talking to you as if you've been riding here and you just asked me, what did you just sit through? And so I sat through some economists talking about what their data is saying. And the reason people pay attention to Charles Edsel, or Edsel Charles, the reason they pay attention to him is because the guy was spot on with the calling the downturn, the Great Recession of 08, which started in 06, and he also was spot on nailing the turnaround, and he was spot on years before. And so he's an economist. He gathers all kinds of data. They go through a lot of trouble to drive around different neighborhoods and things of that nature to gather data about the housing market. And so when he speaks, people listen. And so that's why I wanted to come and hear this, because there's been a lot of talk, especially in Murfreesboro, from a lot of from realtors that do a good job of getting their name out there, that the sky is falling, that the real estate boom is over. And that is not the message I heard in there. Nowhere near. There's a lot of people out there that are worried, that they're thinking that they've missed their chance to buy a house or to sell their house. I think that the growth going forward will be less. It's going to be subdued for sure, simply because prices have risen so high that incomes have not been able to keep up. And so you're having, there's some issues there. There's some friction in the market. The lower points in the market, they're gone, right? They discussed that you can't build at those lower price points any longer, and so that makes it very difficult. The issue with that is that long-term wise, it causes a lot of social issues, because owning a house, the rates of wealth are far greater for people who own a house than for those who don't. And so the divide will continue to grow between the haves and the have-nots, because those that have not been able to buy a home, and so that causes a problem. And I'm trying to get out of this parking lot here and not be too much of an a-hole with letting people out. So anyway, so that's an issue. I think that what you can gather from this is that we're severely underdeveloped in the Nashville area. We're not building houses fast enough. The fact that the builders disappeared, I mean, let's be honest, a lot of them went out of business in 06, 07, 08. And so the building fell off the cliff, whereas people continued to, people continue to create families and grow and things like that and then also our economy turned around, so more and more people are moving into the area, and so that has caused a real growth in demand. We have millennials now that are getting to the age where I think they're going to start making more decisions. The demographics right now are similar to that of the mid 90s as far as millennials go. And so, meaning that you remember the Chrysler minivan, Do you guys remember that? The Chrysler minivan became very popular in the mid-90s, and that was all demographic related because people started having more kids and needed to carry those kids around. And I think we're going to run into the same issue, and that's what Mr. Charles, I should have looked up that guy's name before I made this video. That's what he said. He said that you've got a lot of young children, young kids that are living downtown right now. They're having a good time and things of that nature, but that the ladies are going to make the decision, and I know they will. They did for me, and they do for lots of young men. We have a good time, we enjoy it, and then some young lady says, hey, it's time for us to get married, and so you do, and then you start having kids. And I think we're about to head into that, and what that means is those people are going to want to buy houses, and they're going to move out as far as they have to still stay with the job that they have and get that lady a house, get those children a house. They're not going to want to live downtown with them. I don't think so either. And so I think that the data that they showed that was really interesting was they asked renters based on age. You know, they broke the data down by age. They asked them, do you want to own a home? Do you think that do you look forward to owning a home, things of that nature? And people that were like 35 and under, they all said yes. And so I don't think that you got a generation that's going to rent forever, which is a good thing for all of us, because people who own homes get connected to their community. People who own homes pay taxes, pay attention, and people who own homes create wealth. And that's what we need. We need people to create wealth in our country. There are some things that they talked about, how local governments are holding us back. I'm going to dive more into that. That was like the closing question where he said that there was justice. Anyway, I'll be having a blog post on this. I'll be talking about it. I think it was very pertinent to how our government is working. And I'm in Rutherford County, and I think it applies to what's going on in Murfreesboro. And so anyway, I think there's some issues of fairness and things of that nature that are causing problems that need to be discussed, and I'm going to start talking about them. I've been rambling for 7 minutes right now. The great news is that rates are going to increase. News, bro. Well, because it's great news, because it means that the economy is healthy, right? And another thing that was interesting, they talked about, he was like, the tax cuts were a boost to the economy. Normally those occur at the beginning of a return of a market moving up. These happen much later, right? Trump puts the tax cuts in place, and that is really what has been able to power us through the all the different trade issues, global issues that we've had lately. I'm getting on the interstate now and taking off. Listen to that little 4-cylinder run. So we had those tax cuts later in the boom, and so it's definitely extending the cycle. And I think, and based on the data I saw today, that I agree that we could see a downturn sometime in 2020, but it's not going to be a big downturn. And I don't look for the downturn to occur in the stock market in the manner that it has in the past. There's a lot of data out there that talks about how people, how this recent, the Great Recession has affected people. It's caused people to be less risk takers. It's caused them to be more cautious. And because of that, we don't have the same problems that we did in 05, 06, and 07 leading up to 08. And so it's different. It's just way different. It's not going to be the same. The one bubble that he mentioned, I agree with totally. That's in commercial real estate. I think that we've got some real problems in commercial real estate that, I think that they're holding the economy back. It's so hard to start a business right now because your rents are so high. The rent is too damn high. And so that is an issue. And I think it's because it's a bubble right now in values, and when that bubble pops, the great thing about that is some people are going to get hurt, but once that settles, rents come back down to earth. It makes it cheaper for you to start a business and cheaper for the economy to grow, and it's a good thing. And so when you drive around like I do in Murfreesboro a lot, you see these strip malls, these buildings have been built, and there's nothing in them. It's in a lot of spots. There's nothing in them. Call them up, ask them what the rent is, and then you'll know why there's nothing in them. The reason there's nothing in them, because the rents are too damn high. And so that's from elevated valuations. They're too high, they got to come down, and they're going to. When that pops, it's going to hurt, it's going to cause some shakiness for sure. You'll see some uncertainty. Maybe that's what happens in 2020, 2019. I could see that. And so and based on the data that I saw today, that it just confirms this feeling that I've been having, that you can't leave these places empty for so long. Anything else? Let's see. I've got a new podcast that I'm starting called Pirate Sales, I guess, something like that. Anyway, I put the Edsel Charles speech up on there. It's my first thing on it. I've got some other sales guys I'm going to bring on and going to interview them, going to talk to them, try to give you guys some sales tips, some pump ups, things like that every week to get you fired up and ready to go. I tell people that I run my business like I'm a pirate, and so that's, you know, and by a pirate, you're either on my ship or you're not. And if you're not, then look out, because I'm coming for your business. And so that's just, I think that competition makes people better, and we can't be afraid. The new podcast is going to be about. I was happy to get it going using Anchor.fm. Anyway, if you haven't seen Anchor, it's great. If you want to start a podcast, wonderful, wonderful software. The issue with it is it limits you to 1 hour. And so I believe that the speech went a little bit over, so you missed a little bit at the end. And anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, click the thumbs up. And if you didn't, well, click the thumbs up and help me out, because I could use the help, and appreciate you watching till the end. Thanks this on other things, but anyway, I'm glad you joined me for the ride. Now I'm gonna get to focus on it, and thanks.